I hope half stomach and brain is still working. I know it's lunchtime, but you have two young, beautiful ladies on stage probably to talk a lot about technology, right? So such a pleasure to have you, Shri, today, and such a wonderful name, Srimathi, right? So we decided to stand and do this session so that we can complete 10 case steps focused on well-being, right? But as we focus on well-being, we are also going to explore how we leveraging technology in the space of social impact and how do we actually scale it into ensure that we are containing the challenges which come out of these spaces. So to start with, I just wanted to probably put all of us in the same page. If you can define what exactly is social impact according to you.
Yeah, thank you. I think I want to caution everybody in this room that very often social impact equals CSR, some charity. It's about the poor and the disabled and so on. Please, I think we should just knock out of that stupid thought. It's nothing to do with raising the society and touching the bottom of the pyramid and so on. The social entrepreneurs mean it's very different. It's about connecting your triple bottom line. When you think of profit, think of people and planet. Are you doing that? It's important. Let's just look at it, Vinny, these days. The WWW has a very different connotation. The first W could be a weather. The second W could be women because they are big buyers. The third W is well-being now after COVID. Many of us in this room as entrepreneurs forget that whatever you build does not reach the last mile. Last mile connectivity and making an impact in the last mile. And making your products and platforms which are technologically enabled, which is very, very important, to ensure that there is access, affordability, and assurance. When I say assurance, it's the quality assurance. I think it means a lot. Let me give you an example. I am a person who can be under social impact. Not that because I don't have money. I have money, but I'm a woman. I'm also a woman who would probably have a higher access to buying new products than my fellow male as well. My discretionary income in India is very high. No one looks at me as a person who wants to buy stuff to scale. But today, with IT and technology, the number of women who are in the 40s and the 50s are going to be the potential. Someone was talking about this experimentation today with financial inclusion. We just forget that we are the people who can actually take a bold step. We don't need to consult with the spouses to take decisions. Key decision makers, to a large extent, define the social impact. It's no longer the bottom of the pyramid. It's no longer the social strata. It's no longer like people who are living in villages. It's about who can take decisions about what they want to buy and where they want to buy and through which channels that they want to buy. In my mind, that's the definition of the new social impact.
Wonderful, thank you for that. So, you were just talking about WWW and it's at least new to me. And it's amazing that you get to learn something all the time when you interact with people like you. And by the way, you may be thinking Shri is a corporate person, but more than that, I think she is an entrepreneur within a corporate, which is even more a difficult role. Multiple entrepreneurship stints within HCL Tech has probably shaped her in terms of thoughts across the technology space. So we're talking about last mile's reach. And how do we ensure that also entrepreneurs who are building technology and who's into the startup space ensure that there is inclusivity and there is also ensuring that we are reaching the last mile or the last person standing, just to bring in inclusion into the picture. How do you do that?
Absolutely. I think a lot of them have talked about it and I don't want to really work on the platforms. But on the lighter note, do you know what is one of the largest selling products on Amazon? Anyone wants to tell me? One of the largest products, one of the largest and most wanted product on Amazon, even for people who live in the US, the Indians living in the US. Any idea? And it also falls under sustainability. I'll give you cues, okay? I'll give you cues. It falls under sustainability. It falls under sustainable energy. It falls under rural. And it also falls under empowerment. But Amazon has made it a very successful product to take to market. Any guess?
And 1 kg costs around 1,200 rupees.
Yes.
Any guesses?
See, that's why you need me here. Do you know cow dung cakes? Have you heard of them? How many of you? Yeah? Do you know it's like becoming a very popular source of energy? And it also, it's as good as somebody saying, I'm having turmeric milk in the morning. Yeah? So it's become such a cliched statement. So we just forget that most of the things that you want to experiment and you want to really test, your audience is not outside your own ecosystem. It's within your own ecosystem. That's the best thing about India, right? It's about who is your audience? Where are you going to really experiment? Where are you going to test your product? Product testing is so important, and I guess what we miss today is your own social ecosystem. I think more and more entrepreneurs, when they talk to me, the first question they ask is, we are just losing our patience. People are just not buying our product. And I say, where are you selling? Oh, the target group that we have defined. I said, how did you define? India is such a large market. Why didn't you just redefine and rethink and start distributing to people whom you think will not buy? It's a very interesting market that we have, right? That's why I keep telling people about the entrepreneurs, including myself as an edutech. What we assume most of the time is just perception-based. Much of the data that we get on hand from market research, I'm sorry if my colleague from mobility sector will also tell me, half the time we think that's the right data is never right until we dirty our hands. So in order to get the technology right for social impact, any entrepreneur in this room, even if you come with a simple product of taking cow dung to the market, of course you have to dirty your hand because it's cow dung in the other way, but I think most important is that you just need to be there in the market and have an ear to the ground.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And that's very important in my mind.
Okay, wonderful. So having an ear to everything what you listen, see, and a keen observation skills you're talking about,
another
right?
thing I'm very concerned about, technology and social impact. I'm going to be a little bold in this room, and pardon me, are the stereotypes. I see robots outside. Why do we need a size 14 woman as a robo there? She is heavy on the top and she has a flat stomach. Why do a woman always have to be curvaceous and a robo has to be a curvaceous woman? What are we passing to the future? What are we passing? We are passing the past precedents. And technology has no gender. Technology is the one which is going to really bring no gender, no ability issue, no background issue, and you're making curvaceous robots. So my concern is for the next generation, and this is where mobility sector has broken a lot of these stereotypes. They don't have gender-specific mobility, EV mobility bikes these days, right? It is out of comfort. Who buys, who uses it, whether it's for a paternal use, maternal use, a farmer use, or a last mile delivery, it doesn't matter today. So I think technology helps you to break stereotypes. But what we are now doing with our design thinking and design appreciation is the pinks and the blues and the yellows and the curvaceous features. So with the edutech, with the education and the whole lot of learning that we do from technology perspective, in my view, Vinny, has to break the stereotypes. Otherwise, whatever we are trying to do with a larger ecosystem of progression using technology will fail.
Such a relevant topic, and I think I really appreciate picking up on the robo outside with a curvaceous. I'm going to think about myself, am I still there or have I been painted a different picture?
You can make a good model.
So here is what it is to technology and what we understand as inclusion, and I think the responsibility of someone who is embarking onto the journey of being an entrepreneur, especially in the technology space, comes with a lot of social responsibility too, in terms of lifting as you rise, right? So how do you really ensure as you start up, that it is in the forefront of your thought process, that you are lifting your community as you rise, and how responsible you are towards building a more sustainable and more, I would say, socially responsible community, Shri.
Actually,
Ranjini Mani.
Ranjini Mani, I think she spoke about the adoption of AI. It is going to have a big impact. Let me just tell you, as much as we speak about fintech, health tech, med tech, techs, do you know there is a $300 billion market for edutech? And the biggest market will be in a place like India. Because if the bottom of the pyramid is not going to start adopting the technology the way you want, any product that we choose to do is not going to reach there. When I say bottom of the pyramid, it's not again on the economically distressed or vulnerable. It's also about the men and the women who are 40 and above, who are impacted by technology today. Most of the job roles, the World Economic Forum says more than 1.5 billion jobs across the world is going to be impacted by technology. I'm sure 30 or 40% of them should be in India, right? Looking at our population. Whether it is a formal sector or an informal sector, it would be extremely important on how they are going to adopt technology. And therefore, if you want to lift, shift, and accelerate, it's important to define those people who are tech know-hows and tech know-not-hows. And when I say bottom of the pyramid, are those who are following the steps of not understanding technology, embracing technology for their own careers. Yesterday, I flew from Delhi to Delhi to Trivandrum. There was a doctor sitting next to me. He's a young doctor who's just graduated, and he has moved to Safdarjung to start his house urgency. And then he was I asked him, what are your aspirations? He was like really, is like dreaming all dollars in his eyes. I asked him, how much do you understand technology? He said, I don't even have a PC at home. I said, your world is going to be full of robotics in the coming years. How are you going to manage your gadgets? So where are we going to start? The law, whether it's medicine, legal. Tech is not for tech. Tech is for all. And where do we get started? And this is where I do believe the Kerala startup. Because you are have always been number one in literacy. Where are you on including the small, frugal digital products that can really reach people who are not there? I'm just leaving a problem statement. I'm sure you'll explore it better than me because I don't know the ecosystem much otherwise.
Yeah, I think it sounds like you well read the ecosystem as you're talking about a few things and pertinent issues which probably we probably may not pay a lot of attention to. And I guess that becomes so significant as we grow if we are really not paying attention, and that comes in as a huge obstacle in front of us.
So, Vinny, I think in the morning I wake up today, everyone is worried about the congestion. We don't even breathe enough if you're in Delhi today, right? But what are we doing? And we start blaming the other states. But at the end of the day, where is the consumer sitting in the urban cities? Migration is sitting. So when HCL Tech started this New Vistas business, which I was heading for many years, and we built it from the scratch, it's about taking work to where workers are. As entrepreneurs in this room, will you believe in inclusive development and take work to where workers are and remove the congestion in the urban cities and move to the tier 2 and tier 3? Because we don't want to be the next China. And where are the cities beyond the 5 metros today? Who says that you cannot work from the smaller towns, breathe fresh air, and still make money? You do. You can make money from wherever you are because you have platforms and technology to support. Reverse migration is going to be one of the major social impact drivers for any entrepreneur. You don't need to be a social entrepreneur for that. It's just a common sense going forward, right? And we must start having a forward-looking platforms, forward-looking products, which can really, really stop this migration. 73% of the workforce in urban cities are from smaller towns. 73%. Because many people in urban cities don't want to embrace technology. They're largely into humanities, if you know. So this is the concern today in India.
Very well said. There's also something which you brought up, and I think we touched upon a little earlier. Is there something specifically you call it as social entrepreneurship?
Years ago, I don't have any sustainability background or any of these things, but I got chosen years ago by Infosys to set it up and lead it. And I come from a hardcore business background. So when I went to my boss and said, why do you pick me? He said, do you have common sense? I said, I guess so. If you have common sense, then that is social sense. What your grandparents don't teach you, your Western books are not going to teach. If you don't stay rooted, there is no social impact. So all he said was, if you have common sense, equate your common sense to social impact. If you try to put a definition to social impact, then you're forever going to debate. When you wake up in the morning and you feel good that you have created something with a purpose and you bring more smiles as you walk more miles, then in my view, that is social impact. Let's not get too much into definitions, because end of the day, whatever we create, we want our P&L to look better. It's not just about 12x, it's also about your 65% margins, especially if you're in a digital sector, right? So in my view, the less we define, and the more we start going back to our roots and getting some of the best practices this country had developed over the last 50 years through our own collective wisdom, would equal social impact. Entrepreneurs don't need to look outside. A chat with the grandmas will teach them the social impact better. That's my definition.
Wonderful. The Cowden story says it all.
Well, the Amazon just taught me.
Absolutely. So, with the interest of time, I would like to conclude this conversation.
Thank you.
What a wonderful conversation we had. And I think it was
Absolutely.
beyond just doing a panel or an interview. And I guess, did you all enjoy it?
Perfect.
Yeah?
Thank you
Great.
so much.
Thank you, Shri.
Thank
and
you,
very much
ladies.
for hosting.